very sporadic bits and pieces that aren't really aligned to a particular goal don't tend to add up as well. They kind of generally do. But if you've got like, so for example, you're thinking clinch, I want to get better in the clinch for this next, between now and my next fight. If more of your supplemental bits and pieces on top of everything in your spare moments, the extra little bits you're thinking about are aligned towards clinch, whether it is a little bit of extra core work, whether it is looking at the technicalities of the clinch, all of those things are kind of going towards that same priority. That stuff adds up. That then matters. That drip, drip, drip of these extra little bits you add in are all aligned to that one goal. That matters. Fighters, welcome back to another episode of Heatrick Muay Thai Performance. When it's kind of a bit here, a bit there, it's everything else. It's kind of a little bit too shotgun to really compound to make anything meaningful. But I always think each training block should have one or two technical, tactical focuses and one or two strength and conditioning, resistance training, stroke, cardio focuses. And that's it. If you're kind of thinking about more than that, there's probably not enough focus on anything to make any of the needles move. And you've just got to pick your priorities and go for that. What I like to concentrate with in the clinch, to think about it in terms of your clinch strength, I like to think about using the arms or the hands like meat hooks. So you're not grabbing, it's just literally flex at the wrist and you're kind of going raking either for you're using your forearm to kind of guide down collarbones, one side of the neck or the other, and you're kind of raking down and like I've either got the neck or I've turned my hand out and I'm raking down and I'm hooking into the elbow, either on the inside into the crease of the elbow, on the outside of the arm. It's all these meat hooks. That's all I'm looking to do. So to control that, rather than me thinking about anything else, all I'm thinking about is what I'm doing with my elbow. So I'm dragging my elbow back towards my ribs a bit. So that's how I'm kind of activating the muscles in the clinch. That instantly uses the stronger muscles in your back and not the weaker muscles in your arms. It also activates your core a lot more. So the more you can think about what am I doing with my elbows in the clinch, I'm either using them to pull down back towards my ribs while I'm hanging on to one part of their body, whether it's elbow, shoulder, neck, whatever, back of the head, whatever I can kind of hook into and grab, and I'm drawing those elbows back. But then I'm also thinking about using the elbow to kind of push them in the chest and on the collarbones as well, while I'm pulling with the other arm potentially. So all I think about in the clinch is elbows. What am I doing to control my elbows? I'm also, what I'm doing with my elbows, locking into the arms or not, is massively affecting what's coming back in terms of elbow strikes if you're fighting A-class rules. So the more I can think about where my elbows are and what they're doing, I found the stronger the clinch is and the stronger my elbow defense in the clinch too. So it's kind of useful to make that your preoccupation. The more you can think about, say, how your elbows are involved with all your core exercises as well, make that your preoccupation with controlling where my elbows are, and I just make my core real strong while I'm doing all of that. It will make a big difference to your clinch. And like you say about the different methods of gripping or holding or whatever, they just become the end effectors for how you attach yourself to your opponent. But the root is, what am I doing with my elbows after that? Clinch, core, and I'd say the overhead pull strength in particular, so that like chin up type patterns. If that gets stronger, the clinch gets easier. It's one of those sort of foundations. It's also exercises, you can place those on a force velocity curve with strength up one end where it's heavy and slow, highest velocity is at the other end with like med balls and plyo jumps and all these kinds of things. And then you've got the sort of Olympic lifts and swings and loaded jumps that kind of fit the curve in between. You can also place Muay Thai technique on a curve just like that, a theoretical curve. And at one end, you've got the heavy strength-based movements, which will be clinch. At the other extreme end, it's punches, light arms. And then between that, you've got like, as it kind of comes back towards sort of more forceful and slower, we get kicks. And then it starts to get like jumping techniques, takes more force, so it's a little slower than the other ones. But up that strength end of the continuum is clinch. So of all of the exercises, if you think about which exercises contribute to which technique. All the plyo stuff is more towards that high velocity end. So it's more like those faster strikes. It's the punches, it's the kicks, it's that sort of end of it. The heavy grinding strength exercises at the end of the resistance training session, that's directly going towards your clinch. And the chin up in particular, pull-ups, especially if you're thinking about your technique being, rather than me just pulling my chin towards the bar, I'm actually thinking I'm hanging from the bar and I'm pulling my elbows towards the side of my body, my ribs, and that's what's getting me to the top. That's going to directly translate not only into the physical quality of the strength being in your back that pulls your elbow and your arm, and not just being bicep strength pulling on someone, but it also starts to reinforce that foundation pattern of controlling my elbows in the clinch. It's all the same thing, and it starts to come out in the wash there too. It's useful when you've got a focus like you have to be thinking, okay, my priority in this next section of my training is clinch. So I am going to be thinking, like, in the core, I'm thinking about what am I doing with my elbows, because that's directly coming into my clinch as well. I'm thinking in my chin-ups, I'm pulling my elbows to my ribs as I'm going up, and that's going to directly come out in my clinch as well. So although we're kind of doing it all the time, the more you can start seeing those patterns, if you like, the more directly you'll find that comes out in what you're trying to do, and you'll find, oh, my clinch has just gone through the roof because of this continuation.
Thanks for listening. If you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, and share with someone else it could help too. Please give the podcast a review or comment below. We'd love to hear from you. As always, you can visit heatrick.com for more Muay Thai performance podcasts, videos, articles, and guides. Catch you next time.